If you did not sleep well, if you have not slept yet, reach out to me and I'll give you some thoughts. There's an element to sleep that I'm starting to understand. So sleep is a soft power, right? It's how you influence yourself. The basic difference between hard power and soft power is hard power is how you influence others. Soft power is how you influence yourself. Now, what happens when you influence yourself, you influence others without having to do anything. That's the whole point of soft power. Hard power is a stick. Soft power is a carrot. The way you influence yourself with soft power is in 4 ways. So the 4 influences you can have over yourself using soft power are sleep, mindfulness, meditation, and your legacy. Legacy is like what you're leaving behind. A legacy is when someone says, "Oh, they have a clear conscience." That's legacy. So soft power is all about the powers you have to influence yourself. Sleep is the number one thing. Now, if you're having trouble sleeping, the questions that you want to ask yourself are what's going on in the other 3 categories: mindfulness, meditation, and your legacy. And so what that does is it gives you places to look. And so you want to kind of give yourself a score. You give yourself a score from like 1 to 5. If I practice mindfulness every day, I'm on top of my mind, that's a 5. I meditate on things that are really significant for me, that's a 5. I have clearly defined and articulated my legacy, that's a 5. I get a good night's sleep every night, wake up refreshed, that's a 5. 1s in all those categories are I haven't slept in days. My mind is a disaster. I'm constantly kind of losing my cool, losing my focus. A 1 in meditation is I don't give a shit about anything. I'm just inside of the digital world. Nothing really has any meaning for me. And then, 4 is I don't know. I'm not leaving behind anything. My life is meaningless. It has no value to anyone. That's 1, right? So you look at those 4 categories and your score is about a 20. If your score is, if you got, 2s in all 4 spots, then, we got to figure out what you want to do. And that's legacy. What's 50 years from now, if people were to remember you, what would they remember about you? What would they say? And if you don't have an idea for that, then you need to get to work on that. You need to think about that. And so once you think about that, it's called your end state desire, your desired end state. It's what the Navy SEALs do. It's why they're so effective, is they get their desired end state, make it clear, then they backfill it. So that's what we do at Armor Down. You recognize your desired end state, you backfill it, and you track your scores. It's something you can measure. It's important to measure because if you don't measure it, it's hard to talk about it over time. Okay? So if you're not sleeping good, if your sleep is just total crap, reach out and we'll talk it through. And I'll shoot you some ideas and we'll work on it. I mean, I can't fix it for you. I can motivate you and I can give you guidance and framework, but I can't fix it for you. You've got to work on that yourself. So if you didn't sleep well, let me know and let's talk about it. If you did sleep well and you're interested in hearing more about this idea between hard power and soft power, let's go into that. Even if you didn't sleep well, let's go into that too. But so hard power is your influence over others. Soft power is your influence over yourself. It's pretty simple. Now, the way hard power can work outside in the world is you can kind of get other people to do what you want by coercing them. You can pay them, you can be more powerful than them, you can threaten them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Soft power is power over yourself. And what that means is that you can influence all the things that really give you power, which is sleep. Enough sleep, you get more power. Awareness of your mind, power. The ability to put your mind into a state of absolute immersion and contemplation and total focus, power. Legacy. Your influence over what people are getting out of your life and what they'll remember of your life and what your life is contributing to. You have power over that. Now, what happens with soft power is that people perceive and experience that power that you have over within, and they're attracted to it. They're attracted to it. They want to interact with it. They want what you have. Now, you could go into the hard power realm and you can tell them this is what they need, or you can do what Armor Down does, which is cultivate a framework or a brand or an identity around soft power and get people to see that they can have this soft power for themselves, and then they'll become attracted. The idea is that when you get to a level of soft power that's in the 3s, 4s, and 5s, right? If you're in 1, 2, you don't really have much soft power. Most of your powers at best are hard, and you have to really like fight and scream and yell to get what you want, and it's meh, meh. But if you're in your 3s and 4s and up into 5s, then you're interacting with people who are attracted to your soft power. You can tell they're attracted to your soft power by just how they want to interact with you, and what your interaction brings. Because what soft, powerful people have is an ability to be inside of difficult environments and not be disrupted. Maintain their soft power even inside of disruption. And that's a skill. It's a skill that is acquired over time. It's a skill that's maintained. It's a skill that's developed. It's a skill that's developed, and it's a skill that's maintained. And it's maintained by practice, right? So that's why we practice Armor Down every day, every morning. That's why I'm going to be putting out more content about how to use your body to develop your soft powers. Meditation is just a really powerful thing, because you got to understand what your mind is. You've got to get there. This notion that you can just use your mind to learn things and acquire knowledge is okay, but you're still not learning about the essence of your mind. The essence of your mind is hard to talk about, because the essence of your mind doesn't include language. The essence of your mind, the fundamental element of what your mind is, the true nature of your mind, is an emptiness. It's a radiant emptiness. Radiant emptiness, what the hell is that? A radiant emptiness is the type of thing that you experience when you're making love to someone that you truly, truly care about. There's no analysis of the experience. There's simply the experience. What's your mind doing? Oh, it's nothing. It's not doing nothing. Your mind is totally immersed. There's no definitive mind. It's immersed. That's the nature of your mind. Radiant emptiness. If you're in a sporting event, in the moment right before your responsibility is to take on the ball or whatever, your mind goes into its radiant emptiness. Now, if you're in a sporting event and your mind goes into analysis and blah, 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 you're going to screw up, because the mind cannot be the best it can be if it is pigeonholed. So radiant emptiness is the mind's fullest capacity in the moment. I mean, it's infinite, just right there. That's why sporting events are so cool, because it's like it's amazing to see what happens when that's just all there is, just this radiant emptiness of two teams fully immersed in the moment, going at it. That's just amazing. It's why there's nothing, it's why in the sporting world there's always something new. It's always fresh. That's what radiant emptiness is for the mind. So if you don't understand that and you don't practice that, then that's literally like a soft power that's just this power. That's like it's like a power up in a video game that's sitting right next to you, and you're just like, I don't need it. Nah. And part of your problem is you believe in hard power. You believe in the hard power myth that this is what real power is, and this is how power is supposed to be, and real power is being a badass and getting people to do what you want because they fear you. It's coercive. That's the kind of power you need. So you think, that's what I need to develop. And you can develop hard power. I mean, that is an absolute fact. You can develop it, and you can make it pretty strong. but it's for naught. It's absolutely for naught. All hard power practices, almost all understandings of power, are based on past intellectuals. And most of the past intellectuals that it's based on, the powers that they served and the powers that they tried to maintain all failed. They all failed. All of them. There's not a single empire that has used hard power effectively for any grand amount of time. I mean, come on, a 200-year empire compared to, 13.5 billion years of evolution. Human beings been around in a complex way for hundreds of thousands of years, and the best that we've been able to create so far are these empires that last for, I don't know, a couple hundred years. What does that matter? What does that matter now? Yeah, they've played a role in the legacy, but the powers that they fought for and they believed in ultimately died out. What are the powers that have lasted? They're soft power. The powers over the insides. That's the power that have lasted, and you know that by the length of time that religions have been around. And the basic message inside of most religions is that the power within you, your soft power, is divine, and that it does stand the test of time. And if you really want to understand your fullest power, you want to understand just how powerful you are, hard power is not where you find that understanding. So, we use hard power. I mean, good Lord, do we ever. We're still in war in Iraq. We're still in war in the Middle East. We've spent, I think, like 100 billion, trillion, zillion, billion, 50 gillion, billion, jillion dollars in the Middle East. And now it's just kind of like, what do we get out of it? In the past 20 years, since we've started the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, all we've really done is create a bunch of things that are held up by hard power, that the second it leaves, it's going to change. It's not going to last. We've spent trillions and trillions of dollars. A lot of that money has just made a small portion of the population super rich. And for what? I mean, I got nothing. We've militarized our society. Our society is totally militarized. For what? I saw a video of a black person and a white person in an argument. And the white person I think he had maybe 2 or 3 guns, long guns. He had a mace, he had a baton, he had all this stuff. And there's this black guy. And the black guy it didn't look like he was armed. And the black guy kept screaming at the white guy, come at me, you mace me, do all this stuff. And the white guy couldn't do any of the things that he had the gear to do because the white guy knew that all of his hard power was bullshit. And so they couldn't do anything. We've got a society that has this like love of hard power, but we can't even use it because it's not even effective. The only way hard power works is in a war. The only way hard power works is when you're, dominating someone else and you think. The only way hard power works is if you think it only needs to work for a little bit of time. If you just need to make something happen quickly, this guy Hank and I got into a discussion about that. If you need to make something happen quickly and be in and out and largely have nobody know about it, I mean, that hard power is the way to go. Like I don't want to come down hard on hard power because it hasn't really worked since forever. But I do want to point out that hard power is not bad. It just doesn't have the staying power of soft power. And most people don't understand soft power because most people understand power as something outside yourself, and they don't understand the power within yourself and how the power within yourself is what actually influences and attracts people. It's not hard power. Now, it may seem like it is, but it only seems like it is because our systems are kind of developed around a misunderstanding of what our powers are and an overemphasis on hard power because we think or we thought or we still believe that that's how we achieved our greatness, which, currently you can't quite call what we've got going on greatness. You can kind of call it a liminal period, a period in between where we can go from greatness, where we can go from, some very wonderful things to the next version of kind of the best version of what America has been and can be. But until we do that, we have to address the soft powers within. And most people's internal environment is very, very, very full of massive disruption. And the fullness of that massive disruption is being played out in the streets. And we're looking, and the way it's playing out in the streets is all these kind of like almost violent moments. But anytime there's a violent moment, you've already failed. All you create with violence is more violence. Violence is a disease. And if you interact with violence as your tool, if you use hard power as your tool to get people to do what you want, it's just going to be short-lived. There's just no way around it. And now with the internet, it's going to be short-lived, shorter, because the internet can point all this stuff out really, really quick. Now, again, the internet's flawed and it's got its problems, but you see how ineffective a firearm is in convincing people of anything other than to leave or to cower or to kill. I mean, firearms as weapons, a firearm is an incredible weapon. As a tool for power, it's really, really powerful for a country, but it's only powerful in the short term. And I'm not talking like short term as in a couple months. I mean, a decade's short. A decade's a short amount of time. So, you want to be thinking about, well, how do I build something that lasts 5 decades? How do I build something that lasts 100 years? Well, that's soft power. And we still don't understand that. I mean, there's no support structure for soft power. That's why I'm starting to call Armor Down the country's first soft power company. We promote soft power. We make soft power relevant. Most people don't understand what soft power is. Most people don't understand its value. And most people have never really thought about that. And it shows. It shows in our politics. It shows in our suicide rates. It shows in our loneliness rates. It shows in our isolation rates. It shows on our social media. I mean, it's all there. It's the problems that we have developed are all laid bare for us to see. And so now we need to slingshot ourselves into this next phase, whatever that is. And what's going to happen is that Armor Down will be a company that makes soft power relevant to the public and teaches soft power, teaches you what you got to do to cultivate soft power in your own life. And the best part about soft power is it's a cultivation within you, and it's decentralized. That's another difference between hard power and soft power. Hard power is often centered around something, right? Soft power is decentralized. Soft power is all about bringing out what's in the inside. In the military, they call that, in Iraq, it was called counterinsurgency, or winning hearts and minds, right? You win the hearts and minds by doing these nice things for people, and they trust you. That's a kind of that's a soft power. This guy named Nye, who wrote books on soft power, it's all looked at in terms of politics, influencing other people. But the real influence is yourself. And I'll read the stanza so that you can kind of see why I picked this topic today, and then we'll go into the training. I feel like it's going to be a quick one. So we're on stanza 69. Free of weakness, no mindedly ignore the sharp attacks of your enemy. Step in and act. So what happens when you develop soft power is that you feel and you know when the attack is influencing you, and you know where it's influencing you, and you understand that influence, and you know how to be with that influence empty-mindedly, right? What did he say? No-mindedly, which means that your mind, which is, remember, your mind at its nature is radiant emptiness. Okay, radiant emptiness. Now, at the moment of thought, this radiant emptiness can turn into that. So, no-mindedly is you're getting attacked and you're still at radiant emptiness. Okay, to be mindedly, using that word, is to go here. Okay, so one's here, the other's here. If you're here, even during attack, then you can easily navigate and move in and deploy soft power and win the day. And what it means to win the day is you go home with the person, you have lunch, right? That's winning the day. Winning the day is that person invites you over for dinner. Winning the day is that your neighbor gets your trash can for you. That's winning the day. Winning the day isn't, defeating someone in an argument and sending them home, realizing how stupid they are, and then they're like, oh gosh, I should have thought differently, and now I'm going to go be friends with that person. Come on. So anyway, that's where Armor Down's headed, and I'm really excited about it because I'm excited not to use the word mindfulness as much. I'm excited not to use the word meditation as much because those are like pieces, right? And they're not pieces that you study in isolation of other things. And, for a while, Armor Down was a mindfulness company and, a veterans company and, all this other kind of stuff. But what Armor Down is becoming is a soft power company. And I think we're America's first. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say we're America's first soft power company. And because of the internet, I can be places very quickly, right? And Armor Down can be places, anywhere in the world, bam, in an instant, right? Right here, I'm streaming to 4 platforms, 4. And you know how long it took me to turn that on? 30 seconds, boom, boom, boom. So that's where the world's headed. The world's not headed to less of this stuff. The world's headed for more of this stuff. So anyway, we're going to become a soft power company. And I'm excited about defining that and promoting that because in my mind, soft power encompasses everything we do as opposed to one of the pieces in particular. But yeah, let's slow down and get into the training a little bit. So what are your cues for comfort? Okay, so again, soft power is the power you have over the insides, right? Soft power is the power you have over your autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system, I have power over that. We have soft powers over it. You can't tell yourself to fall asleep, right? But you can influence your nervous system so that when it's time to fall asleep, your nervous system falls asleep. You can't, without awareness of your ego and what your mind is and how to influence your mind in a way that is a soft power way, you'll never experience the stuff I'm talking about. It's not going to happen for you. You will experience deeper and deeper connections to distractions and whatever else is put out there as content that it's like the latest and greatest. You'll easily be swayed by that, but you'll never understand no-mindedness. You'll never understand radiant emptiness. You won't notice it. It won't have any meaning for you, and you won't be able to train on it. So you won't know what that is. Meditation, you won't know what it's like to be inside of radiant emptiness for moments in time. You won't notice all that stuff. And then your legacy will be for nothing. No one will remember, or you won't contribute to anything that will last. And that's sad. Because every single one of us has these soft powers, has soft power potential. And to start to build on that and have it come out and the impact it has on the people around you is just awesome. Change the world. Change your world. Soft power is where it's at. That's where Armor Down's headed. All right. Cueing for comfort. Bell 1. Smell. Light, shadow. Sound. Touch. Taste. Ground. What's beneath you? Take your time, feel it, move around on it. Study it a little bit. Pelvis. Core. Heart space. Throat. Top of the head. Soften the muscles of the face. Baseline breath. Max out inhale. And exhale. Inhale all the way in and hold. Exhale all the way down and hold. Inhale all the way up and hold. Exhale all the way down and hold. Inhale all the way up and hold. Inhale all the way up and hold. Exhale all the way down and hold. Inhale, exhale, normal. Just sit in the mind. I'm thinking about what I want my legacy to be. I know the kind of dad I want to be. And I think it's the same. Like so we run a program called Armor Down, Daddy Up, which is a program that is all about helping dads be the dads they want to be and helping kids help their dads be the dads they want to be. And so one of the questions we always ask is 5 years from now, if you asked your kid, how they thought about you during the pandemic, what would you like for them to say? And I said with my kids, I said, I want them to think of me as a mountain, just this constant, calming, massive, stable presence that they can always rely on. And that's what I want out of Armored Down. I want Armored Down as a company to just be a constant presence in the world that promotes something that everyone has access to, which is their soft power. And I want that to just be a constant. I want Armored Down to live forever because I want soft power to live forever. We've spent so much time with this notion of hard power and violence and forcing people to be the ways that we think are the best ways to be. I mean, hell, we spent so much time in Iraq trying to get them to be a democracy. It just didn't quite work. They're finding their own way. What if we didn't start with heart power? What if we started with soft power? What if we shifted from a world where, instead of relying on soft power 20% of the time and 80% hard power, it was 80% soft power and 20% hard power? And what if we were able to cultivate that in our own lives? How much of an impact would that have on life? That's the fundamental difference between hard power and soft power sustainability. So when I think about 50 years from now, if I look back and look back to this moment, I want to be 50 years into making soft power more relevant in the world. And that feels authentic and real. And something I can do. Like I can do that. Now finding the ways to make it sustainable and grow, you've got to figure that out. But that's going to happen. All right. Remember, if you're having trouble sleeping, reach out. I'll put up some posts about sleeping, so if you want to put comments and stuff like that. But there's ways to sleep better, right? And I mean, you're going to have to think about it, and you're going to have to work at it. But there are ways to sleep better, and some of them aren't that hard. Like one of the ways that I'm learning how to sleep better, I mean, the big one was stop drinking. So I've stopped drinking since September 1st, which has had a huge impact. But I slept pretty good. I mean, I didn't sleep. I think one of my problems that I had with sleeping with alcohol was that I was chronically dehydrated. Like, I mean, I didn't realize that. And even after months or over a month of not drinking, I'm still having difficulty sleeping. What the heck? It's hydration. Hydration plays a huge role in sleep for me. It might not make as big a difference for you, but I'm drinking about a gallon of water a day now. And for the past 3 days, I've really emphasized it because I kind of let it wane. I wasn't as focused as I was usually on getting that amount of water in. And my sleep's so much better. Oh my gosh, so much better. So these are little things that you can be, paying attention to that you might not have considered before. And, I'm constantly on my soft power about sleep. I mean, if there's one soft power, it's sleep, period. The most soft power there is sleep. Try to have hard power without sleep for over 24 hours. Try to be hard without sleeping for 2 days. Ugh, it's the worst. Anyway, always nice to have this opportunity. What's up, Jessica? Been a while. Hope to see you again soon. Great to see you. All right, y'all. Talk to you later.